Good morning, the Crafty Dancer here. Now, today what we are doing is I've got a little treat. Now, I've got this nice little, what we call a bag mold, and what I'm going to do with it is I am going to bring SpongeBob to life inside my little bag. Now, I've had several people asking me about this. This is my own personal little SpongeBob, but I've also got a couple of his other gang. Here is little Sandy, and there's Patrick. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to put in Squidward. Now, I do have several others. I actually have Mr. Krabby, and I forget what this guy's name is, but he's there as well. So eventually they'll get put in the bag as well. And of course, we can't forget his little snail. So eventually all of those will go in. But for today, we're just going to do Squidward. Now, to do this, we're going to need several things. We are going to need some little background stuff. So this is, by the way, I got these from the pet store for aquariums. That's where he's from, as well as the aquarium plants. So they don't bleed or anything like that. They're plastic, but you won't be able to tell once they're in there. They look very good. Of course, you'll need your mold. And today, we're not using the regular epoxy resin, the 1-to-1. Instead, we're using the deep pour resin. Now, deep pour is very important because it is a deep mold. So this will take a while to cure. And this here is a 2-to-1 ratio mix. But before we can do that, we've got to be able to put Squidward in upside down into the bottom of the mold. To be able to do that, we're going to need a few tools, one of which is a glue gun and some little sticks. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So what we're going to do to start off with is start attaching Squidward to the bottom of some sticks so that I can suspend him upside down inside the mold. And we'll get started with that as soon as I turn the camera down. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my hot glue gun and get it started warming up. Get it set up to where it won't fall over or anything. There we go. Now, in order to make this work, what I have to do is turn Squidward upside down and place my stick on there. The only problem is getting it to stick. But before we can do that, we actually need to do something else. But these will be tongue depressors that I will use for that. So what I want to do first is I want to take out a couple of these here that I want to use as background. So now I'm only going to use one of each of these. Now to do that, we actually have to have our UV resin, which is what I will use to attach them to the back of Squidward. And I've got my UV light, so I will get that ready as well. Oops. Okay. That's not going to work. I will be right back. I got to work out my plugging in issues. Okay, sorry about that. I had to get my UV light figured out. So what we're going to be doing is we got to figure out, because these are much higher than needed. So what I will do is just snip off a little piece of each one and decide which one you want to be the highest. Now these are pretty short, so you want to kind of get I like to do 3 of them, so it gives a nice little mix as we do them. But I want them to be at different heights. So the first one, I'm going to go ahead and snip. I'll do the short one. Actually, I don't need to snip it, I just need to pull. There we go, set that aside. But I can see it's still too tall. That's what we're looking at. So I'm going to bring it, snip it down about right there. And now, looking at the height, it should be just about right. So I've got that one. Now the other two, I just need to make sure are a little bit shorter. So this one's nice and short. So we'll just pop that one out and we'll just leave it about that same height that it's at now. So we'll set that one aside. Now this one, we don't want it to be the same height as that one. So I want to go maybe a little bit higher on this one. So we're going to put it right in there. And now we have all 3 pieces. Now the trick is getting them attached to the back of Squidward. So we're going to start one at a time. We're going to use our UV light. We'll set these off to the side. Bring my UV light over. You can probably just barely see it there. But the first things first, get our UV ready. Now I'm just going to do right on the back here is where I want to attach them. So I'm going to put me in a nice drop right down in here and try and get that right on there. Now you want to hold it in place and okay, look away if you don't want to see the light, but I'm going to hold it down right there and try and get the light on there. Once I get it stuck, then I'll add a little more UV resin to it. And it's not going the way I've planned it, but it's all right. There we go. Just got to get it on there to where it sticks. Not quite. So we'll try it one more time. I really should be using gloves, and shame on me. Luckily, I don't have any kind of a reaction to it. There we go. Now we can get it on there. Now, of course, you can always fast forward. This process takes a few minutes. Okay, there's the first one on there. Now we'll place in the second one. And last but not least, we'll do the third one. And there we go. And to clean a little resin off my fingers. Okay, so now we've got that all set up. I'm going to give it a little more time under a UV lamp while I go to the next step. So my next step, after I've done that, is to start building up a way to hang Squidward upside down. So what I found is by taking and measuring how long this is, I want to take and cut a couple of tongue depressors because I want it to, actually I'm going to use SpongeBob here. I want it to hang down just a little bit inside there. So you can see that. I want it to drop down inside. So I don't want it to sit up on top. I want it to go all the way down in there. And then what I do is I put a top coat at the bottom of there. You can see that one got a little messy. I'll show you Sandy. I think Sandy looks good. But the base right there, I put a top coat after she's in there, and it kind of fills in and hides the little base that they're on. So that's what we're going to work on. So let's first by measuring just how much we need, which will be about that much. So now I'm going to kind of score my tongue depressor to get it to break along that spot. There we go. I'll do the same thing with the next one because I want several layers, and then I'm going to glue all of these together to let it hang down just far enough, and then put a much bigger one on the top. So right like that. So now that those are together, brush off my mat a little bit. Now I'm going to use my glue gun. Mesh those together. Now, after that sets, I'll take one more And that's going to be the one that holds it across the top, just like so. So now I can set that on there and it will hold it in place. Now, so once that's done, so now I can glue Squidward onto there. Need another little glue stick in there. Just set him right on top. Now the nice thing is when I go to demolding, well, not demold them because I'm going to put another layer on there, but once it's set, I can pop off the glue gun, and there he is. Now he can sit down in there, hopefully without coming loose. So that part is pretty much ready. Clear off my little work area a little bit. And I'm just going to stick them under the UV light for a little bit longer. So now the next part is to make sure your mold is ready to go. Have a clean little work area. The cap is on top of that. Set this off to the side. So the next thing I got to do is mix my resin. Now, I will tell you these do take about right around 12 ounces. So we're going to pull the scale out. I'm just going to make sure. It's 11.6 ounces. So that's all the way to the top. So I need at least 11 ounces. So I'm going to mix 11 ounces. So let me get that pulled out and ready to go, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have my resin ready to go here. Get that light off of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make 12 ounces. I always believe in making just a little bit extra. So I'm going to start off by doing, so if I'm doing 12 ounces, that means I need 4 of B and 8 of A. So we'll start off by pouring the 8 ounces. Put that down in there. And once again, I really should be wearing my gloves. So I think I will put those on real quick. Now what I do like about Let's Resin is it's generally no fumes and it's non-toxic. So that's why I don't mind pouring it in my house. I do have windows open, so it's ventilated. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start off by pouring the 8 ounces into this cup. Before I get there, I need to grab one of my sticks. 7.5 and 8. It's just about 8.3. I'm going to drizzle a little bit back and check. Okay, close enough. 8.1. We'll set that down, and now we'll grab the other one and we'll do 4. Now the reason I'm doing 2 cups is because I'm actually going to mix in 2 different cups. I'm going to mix, once I get this full, I'm going to pour it into that one, mix it up, then I'll pour it back into this one, mix it up more. Now all the bubbles is okay, because I'm going to do, got my vacuum chamber to take out the bubbles. There's 2 ounces. 3. And my 4 ounces. There we go. Put these back away. There we go. All right. Once again, we're just doing clear. No mica powders or anything in this. I'm going to try to get as much out of this as I can in there. But not to worry, because I'm going to mix it, pour it in there and mix it again. Now you got plenty of work time on this, by the way, so you don't need to rush. And you do want it mixed thoroughly. Now you can see it's starting to clear up. But as I look down in there, I see all kinds of little threads, as they say. That's where the resin is not fully mixed yet. So you want to keep mixing until you get rid of all those little threads. And while you're at it, scrape the sides and wipe the bottom with it too. It kind of gets it all nice and thoroughly mixed. And just out of curiosity, we'll see where we're at. We're at 11.9. It's because there's a little left in that one. And that's also why, we know it's going to take a full 11 ounces to fill that up to the point that I want it to be at. All right, we'll go ahead and pour it into our second container. Move it over a little bit. I'll scrape this one out. Now we'll mix it some more. And you can see right away we got more threads. It's because we're in the other container now. And like I said, you can speed past this. All right, that is all thoroughly mixed. Now I'm going to move over to my vacuum chamber. And after it's vacuumed, I'll be right back. All right, now it's time to put these together. So one of the first things I like to do is I like to set my mold really close. And by the way, when I do this, I am going to set it inside this cup because this mold can be easily knocked over. So we don't want that. So I'm going to put it in there and that will just kind of help hold it in place. Now, once that is set up, and I'm just going to dump some of these things around it. That just gives it a little bit more stability and keeps it from falling over. Those are some of my little shells that I use for some other projects. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dip this inside the resin and try to get it nice and covered before I drop it down in here. So this can be a little bit messy, but I do that because it helps to eliminate the bubbles. Now, this is a slow curing resin, so the bubbles will slowly rise up to the top anyway. Now I can just, and also it stretches out those, the leaves a little bit to where you can work them in there a little bit better. So, because like I said, this is very messy, so we're going to get a little messy. Let's get it worked in there all the way down. Once you get where you want it, make sure you've got him facing the way you want him to face. Just need to grab a little paper towel there. Okay, we got a little bubbles on the top, so I'm just going to knock those out. Most of these bubbles will get released as it slowly cures anyway, but I like to be, to try and get as much of them out as I can. So now I'm just going to pour it straight on down. And slowly fill it up until I get it to the level that I want it at. Okay, so now that is there. I just need to make a little adjustment to the stick. I do want to try to clean off some of that resin because I got to be able to pull that stick off. So we'll work him into place. And there we have it. It's very important to try to keep your work area clean. Trust me, my wife tells me that all the time. Okay, so now is the waiting game. So if there are any bubbles down in there, they will slowly get released. It just takes time. I won't be coming back to this for probably until late tomorrow after, some time to finish up this video. Or actually tomorrow morning sometime, because I am going to use my heat mat as well. So this weekend I will be heading out. I have a little dance competition, hence the crafty dancer. I got to do my other job and go and do a little dancing and compete with several of my students. So in the meantime, we will get this done. The video probably posted before I leave tomorrow. Let's hope. I will see you soon. All right, we're back now. My deep pour resin has finally cured up. It's nice and hard, so we're going to remove the holder. Hopefully we can get it all out. Got that big piece off. Now we need to pry off the other part. Need to get something to get underneath there. You want to be really careful when you're doing this. Try not to cut your mold. But somehow we got to cut that little our brace off of there, our holder. So we'll just work that out. I can probably go ahead and pull it out of here. Boy, I put it on there good. I think I did a little too strong on it. Oops. Like I said, be careful. I just poked myself. Be right back. Okay, I am back. So I pried off as much of it as I could. Luckily, all of that will be hidden by the resin because I'm going to pour it up, and you can see it is not to the top. So luckily we can do that. There you go. Be careful how much glue you put on there, because I used used my glue stick, well, glue gun, and put a little too much on there, I guess, because it is stuck. It's not coming off. I even tried prying it with a screwdriver, so it's not going to work. So what I do is I look at my base there on Squidward and tried to match the same color as much as I could so that it kind of fills up that whole thing. And we're going to, I've got my resin mixed. I'm not worrying about debubbling it as much because I don't think I need to, but we're going to go ahead and put some mica powder in there. We'll get it mixed up. Oops, little poof. I guess I always say, be careful with your mica powders. They can poof. So we'll get this good and mixed. Let that set for a second. I'm going to take and dump these out so I can dump them back in. don't want this to tip over. So kind of helps to hold it in place so it doesn't wobble, or if it wobbles, it doesn't fall over. That's the main thing. There we go, nice and solid. And as I always say, when you think you got it mixed enough, mix it a little more. Scrape the stick, scrape the sides. All right, so now all we're going to do is we're just going to pour it in there. I can see I'm at a little bit of an angle, so I'm going to try and bring it over, get more level. There we go. And what's nice is you will not see the stick that I left in there. The tongue, pieces of tongue depressor. And there we have it. We have to now wait until that cures to do our demold. So I'm going to enjoy my coffee and give it the time it needs to demold. We'll see you when it's ready. Okay, we are ready to take Squidward out of the mold. He is nice and cured, so let's just go ahead and start working our way out. Now, best way I've seen to do this is just to take and roll it down. And it is fully cured. We're just going to keep working him down. Well, that doesn't look very good. We'll get him all the way out before we make any decisions on that. There we go. Now the hard part is getting it off of the top of the bag. There we go. Okay, so we got him out. And there he is, sitting inside his little bag. And it looks like I kind of had him turned slightly the wrong way. I wanted him more toward here. Well, no, he's actually there, looking out. Got a little fogginess right here and a little bubble where I guess the green slid into it, but overall, I think it looks pretty good. We have SpongeBob. And like I said, doing the 1-pour works wonders. It's nice and clear. And there we have them. We'll turn our mold back to the right position. There we go. And it's nice and clean and ready to go again for the next time. So there we have it. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, a share, hit the bells, and please subscribe so you don't miss another one. Got plenty more to do. Still have Mr. Krabby. I'm going to try to do something with his. And The little mean guy. I forget what his name is, but always trying to take over the world. Under the sea, anyway. So thank you again. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you again soon.